G'day everyone, it's Dean here from Tree FX and I hope you're all well. I was just driving around doing some quoting and I noticed this tree which is just a street tree, one of the council planted trees, and the multiple stems I noticed brought my attention to this tree, and I just wanted to point out something that can potentially be a hazard to many trees and something that we have to deal with often as arborists, and it's the problem with tree structure. And this tree is showing a poor structure, and I'm just going to explain to you why. I'll get Gert to just get a bit of a closer look at this tree, and what you can see is you've got these what we refer to as codominant stems, which is two stems on a tree that are competing for the dominancy. And because they're doing that, they're not putting any actual attachment between the two stems, and you can see that here. It's quite clear with this crack that's running between these two stems. It comes all the way down to here. Now, an ideal structure for a tree is a single stem. A single stem tree puts on a growth ring every year, and it grows as one, if you like. When you have two stems competing for dominancy, they effectively push each other apart. There's no lamination or continuation of the growth rings around that single stem like you see here. The growth rings stop between them, and there's no real attachment between this side and this side. The problem with this is, as you can see, there's a crack between it, and this tree runs a real risk of one or both sides failing in wind, or if it rains heavily and it gets very heavy, that one of these sides of the trees will fall. Now the problem with this is these can be like this for a long time, become big trees and cause big problems when they fall. So a couple of things that are important about this is the way you can manage this at home is formatively pruning your younger trees. So if you're planting trees at your house, formatively pruning the trees when they're 1 or 2 years old. So identifying a potential codominant stem when the tree is very young and getting a pair of secateurs and literally pruning out one side. So you can manage the safety of your trees from a very young age yourself at home with very little cost with a pair of secateurs. That's the ideal scenario. Going further from that, if you've got trees with poor structure and you call an arborist in that identifies structural issues with the trees, we can implement strategies to deal with these structural defects. So we could potentially put in a dynamic bracing system between the two stems of the tree which hold that poor union together. We can potentially bolt the union, which is not ideal because it's an invasive system, but it's still a possibility. Or we can potentially prune one side and trying to encourage one side of the tree to be more dominant than the other. There's a number of things that we can do that are proactive in managing poor structure in trees without us having to come and pull the failed stem off your house. That's the worst case scenario. So simple things that you can think about for yourself is formatively pruning young trees, or reducing the risk of tree failure by implementing some of the strategies I mentioned. So if you've got any trees that you're concerned about in regards to the structure of the tree, multiple stems or 2 or more stems, give us a call so we can come and have a look and just see what the unions are like, because these are potentially very dangerous. So this is one example of codominant stems that is very likely to fail at some point. Now this tree grows right over a footpath, so it's very undesirable. So if you've got any questions, give us a call. We're more than willing to come out and have a look and help you out and ensure the ongoing safety of your trees and your families and your property. So I look forward to speaking and seeing you soon. Thanks very much. Bye.